Hi, this is Christy Little Jones of MyRelationshipRevolution.com. Thank you for joining me. We are moving right along in our modules for the Live What You Believe program. I'm very excited. So this week's focus is on just understanding offense. And we've talked through a little bit about disappointment and how that wreaks havoc on just what it is that you believe, because it implants or plants a seed. Disappointment plants a seed into your heart that corrupts the truth of God's word and really creates a new truth for you. So offense is a part of this process. And so I wanted to explain to you a little bit about the cycle of offense and how it plays into the lies that you believed, or even how offense actually prevents you from actually living what it is that you believe full out in your lives. So in understanding the cycle of offense, most people think the cycle of offense is only 4 stages. Well, the first stage is shock. And many of you already know my testimony of where I was sitting at my desk at work, well, actually in my home, and I was checking my emails, and I came across an email that I wasn't clear who it was from. So when I was reading it, it said, "Dear Christy, I don't know if you know who I am, but I am no longer dating your husband." So this offense, clearly, I was completely shocked. So the first stage of offense is shock. And then the second stage is anger. So you can only imagine experiencing and really receiving this email that I instantly went into anger. Absolutely. The second stage in the cycle of offense is anger. The third stage is sorrow. Now, sorrow is deeper than just having a blue day or just feeling sad or maybe even being a little hormonal. Sorrow is that deep pit sadness and heaviness and weight that you feel in your heart. It is something that sometimes you can even feel on the outside of where your heart is. It's a deep soul pain from an offense. That is the sorrow that you experience when in the cycle of offense. The fourth stage is acceptance, where you realize this is not a nightmare. This isn't a dream, that you're not going to wake up from this. This is reality. And so acceptance is where you put on your big girl pants and you're like, okay, this is real. What am I going to do? And so acceptance is the fourth stage in the cycle of offense. And most people think that there are only 4 stages, because what's interesting about the cycle of offense is that you can stay in the cycle of offense for years, for decades, for lifetimes. And so, because the offense, you can go from shock to anger to sorrow, back to acceptance, back to shock, back to anger, and you can stay and you can repeat this, and things that will trigger the feelings again, where you're going back and forth in this cycle. What most people don't realize is that there's a 5th and a 6th stage to the cycle of offense. And so what that is after you've accepted and you realize that this is reality, or this may be your new normal or your new reality, and you are faced with a decision to make. What am I going to do? And most people are not intentional about making this decision, and that's why they can stay in the cycle of offense for so long. So the decision that must be made when you've been offended is the decision to forgive. And one of the things that I wanted to share is that forgiveness you don't feel forgiveness. You don't feel like forgiving. You decide to forgive. So if you struggle a little bit with decision making, this step may be tough for you, because you have to be intentional to make the decision to forgive someone who offended you. So even to share even the end of the testimony is that I decided that I wanted to fight for my marriage and my family. And my husband decided he wanted to fight for his marriage and family as well. So together we decided to forgive. And through that process of forgiveness, there is such an amazing transformation that takes place, even in the way that you perceive the person who offended you. There's such a release, and it moves you very quickly into the sixth stage of the cycle of offense, or in the cycle of offense, and that is healing. And the thing is, most people say, oh yeah, I forgave, but they really didn't. Time may have passed, and situations where they remove themselves from the situation may have taken place, but they still in their heart are harboring the offense that's taking place, because once you forgive, you release the offense. And really, it gives God the opportunity to give you something that you never thought you could have or experience after the offense. And that is my case. That's my situation, where after my greatest fear, after the deepest pain, the greatest offense that I've ever experienced, that after I confronted it, after I faced it, after I made the decision to forgive my husband for it, we have experienced not only healing and restoration and reconciliation, but we are currently experiencing the happiest, the greatest, the most amazing time being married ever. And so through forgiveness, you can truly experience this place of wholeness and healing and restoration back to what God has originally created and planned and purposed for your life. And so I wanted to encourage you to just even identify some of the offenses in your life, in your relationships, that you are continuing to hold on to. Because oftentimes we hold on to offenses because we feel like it protects us. Whereas if we can continue to remind ourselves of the offense by holding on to it, then it will remind us not to become vulnerable. It will remind us not to trust. But what it does is it keeps you from experiencing freedom. That's what offense does. And so in an effort to get free today, I want you to identify the offenses in your life, in your relationship, that you're still holding on to. I want you to write them down. And I want you to look at them, look over them. It may be something from 20 years ago, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, 40, 50 years ago. But I want you to be very intentional with doing the exercises that goes with this training module. And so you'll see that below in your email. And I look forward to just seeing the breakthrough, the release, the freedom, and the revelation that God brings to you as a result of you doing your exercises. Thank you so much again. This is Christy Littlejones of MyRelationshipRevolution.com. I appreciate you, and I believe in you. Have a great day. Bye.